So the critical part of what meditation can be is how to make davening, prayer, which is something we already do, that we're already supposed to do daily. How do we get that to the next level? And to answer your question about what is a meditation, what is a Jewish meditation, I'm going to teach a little bit from one of the few things that the Baal Shem Tov wrote. And from that teaching that he wrote to his brother-in-law Gershon of Kitov, we can have a new understanding of how to daven, how to pray, using this technique. And as is the way of Chassidus and Kabbalah, we use a pasuk, we use a verse to kind of bring to be a springboard to teach us an important lesson. So there is a verse in the opening section of Noah that talks about God telling Noah to go build a teva, an ark. And interestingly enough, the word for ark in Hebrew, teva, has a double meaning. It also means word or letter. So it's a word play that's critical here. So here's what the verse says. The verse says, it's the 15th pasuk of the verse of the 6th chapter of Bereshis, of Genesis. It says, actually the 16th, Tzor Tasav L'Teva. You should make a window for the ark. Some people actually say it was a luminous stone that shone, that would shine in the dark. And then it says, Ve'el Alma Techalalim U'Mayla, and have a cubit, one Alma on the top, finishing. U'Pesach Ateva B'tzida Tasim. You should make a door on the side. Tachtim Shneim U'Shlishim Tasa. You should make a bottom, second, and third level. That's the instructions of how to make an ark. You want to know how to make an ark? Yeah. You got to have a window because you have to see, and you have to have 3 different floors. And the sages explain why they had to have 3 different floors. One floor was for the animals, one floor was for the humans, another floor was for the things that they had to, the refuse, things like that. Comes the Baal Shem Tov, and he interprets it as follows. He says, Tzohar means light. Taseh L'Teva, you should make for your words, for your letters. Yes. That when you pray, it's not enough to say the word, but you need to make each word shine. And then when you make each word shine, you should know that each word exists in 3 dimensions, 3 planes of existence. The bottom floor, the second floor, and the third floor. So the directions and instructions to build a 3-floor ark is referring to 3 stages of consciousness that we enter into when we pray, when we daven. So let's take a minute to talk about what it means to enter into the Word and to illuminate a word. So the first thing you have to understand, Baal Shem Tov uses the analogy in other places to explain that to pray is essentially to be in love with that word, with that letter as you say it. Imagine you had a gathering of the closest friends and family, all the people that you really love, and you had a chance to hug each one. So and when you hug them, you really feel like you're connecting to who they are. Your heart is really just, you're in a state to begin with of like maybe a simcha in the family, so you're very happy to begin with, and you're really at a great place to be together, and you hug each member of your family, and as you hug each member, you really feel so connected to them. But then you have to let go of them, and there's other people to hug. So the Baal Shem Tov says, imagine if each word is like a person you really loved. So that's the first level of entering into davening. So you hold on to each word like you can't let go, like you're hugging them, like because you love them. But then the reality is they're other people. So, the moment you hug them, it's like there's nobody else. But then a moment later you realize, oh, but there's somebody else. So that's how you have to enter into prayer. And to do that, you have to realize that the words contain within them energy. Each word exists on its own dimension, as its own reality, as its own existence, just like another person. And what are those levels? The first level is the world that we exist in, that angels also exist in, even though we usually talk about two worlds, the worlds of the physical world and the angelic world. But for the sake of our conversation, we could combine the bottom floor could be our world, it could be the angelic world. And what that means is to really see in every word an entirety of the universe. And not just a physical universe, but a physical universe that contains angels in it, that there's this give and take. And then you move up the ladder and to a deeper level of consciousness, which is the second story of the arc of the word, which is soul. So there you're entering into the word and the soul dimension. And then finally, the third floor, the uppermost floor of the arc of the letter, the consciousness of each letter and each word of prayer is divine. Now, what does this mean? There's different ways to understand the world of angels and of souls and of divinity. But in a nutshell, let's just put it like this. In this world that we live in, there's a lot of klipa, there's a lot of exterior, there's a lot of packaging. Like, how do you sell something? You sell it based primarily on its value. You sell it, you got to market it. You cannot make it in this world without good marketing. It's not, quality is not what sells. It's the perception of quality. People don't know quality. There's so many times when you find something that's really, really good, but if people don't perceive it as good, they even have studies that show that wine that's said to cost more will taste better. Just because people will be told this is a $50 bottle of wine versus a $20 bottle of wine, they'll like the $50 bottle. It could be actually that really the $50 bottle isn't a $50 bottle, it's a $5 bottle. But by the very fact that they hear it's a $50 bottle, they prepare themselves to have a value of $50 wine, and they drink it, and they actually begin to feel it's a better one. Why? Because perception is more critical, is more important than what it actually really is. But even the perception in this world, there's the angels, which means it's a little bit beyond what we ordinarily physically perceive, but it's still connected to physical perception. And then there's the soul, which means it's really the essence of the thing, but there's still a division from the source of everything, which is the divine. Even though the soul is aware of the divine. And then finally the divine is when there's only one, there's no separation. So each one of those levels have to be entered into totally.